we need to continue the conversation, and there are certain areas that we need to explore, and I hope we can get a consensus in what those elements actually are. You know, we have had a discussion on remote connectivity. We saw how a tribe is the advantages of Facebook and selling and the commerce aspect. You know, but the important part was having connectivity out into those areas. You know, and I felt that Navajo was tough. You know, and so it just points out that you know, reaching out into these remote community areas, the indigenous areas, poses unique challenges. And that's only infrastructure. That's only infrastructure, right? And so we'll continue to dialogue infrastructure. We're going to have a good presentation on security this morning, so we'll be looking forward to that. But we also look at the other portions that I think they're hard topics, and I want to make sure that we put them out there to discuss them a little bit more. Namely, the one that I see is not an issue in this room, but it's an issue out in the field, and that's capacity building. The ability to have you know, the talent that will carry this forward and carry it on and perpetuate the community network going forward. And with capacity building is actually the aspect of sustainability. And, you know, that's a big word, sustainability. You know, and, you know, I think sustainability can be a lot of different forms. It doesn't have to be for profit. It doesn't have to be, you know, am I making money? Or, you know, it's just, can the network be maintained? Can somebody fix it when it's broke? And also grow it in expansion, right? And making it grow a little, maybe a larger footprint, or upgrading the technology, right? Going from 2G to 3G to 4G, you know, those type of things. You know, what is the, you know, how can we ensure that communities, the indigenous communities, have that talent, and that you know, that the capacity for building or maintaining and sustaining a network is a topic that needs to be explored a little more. So we are going to try to delve into this a little bit more. So let's take care of some logistical things. Sylvia, Orlando, Bernardo, I'm calling you out. So what I want to do is that if you can, if you know, we want to move forward so we can have a more intimate type of arrangement. This is very sparse. So I try to speak to everybody into the back, but I feel like I'm yelling at people in the front, right? And so it gets kind of difficult to have a dialogue and understand where everybody's at. So if we could come forward, I'm sure it's going to make the presenters feel a lot more comfortable. Okay. Okay, so as we progress forward this morning, I just want to remind everybody that this is being streamed, right? So this is being streamed live, and so that's why it's important for to speak into the mic. So because the you know, the streaming won't pick up your voice unless you're speaking into the mic. So when you're asking a question, you know, try to be clear. And then so for the streaming people that are watching this on the internet. Let me open this up. Is there? We had some very good points. Is there anybody that would like to make a comment about yesterday? Let me put that out there. Is there somebody who would like to, you know, talk about a point yesterday? Is there something that maybe, you know, that should be touched upon, that we should be looking at? Is there? Let me put that out there for you all to think.
Hello, I'm Russel Stolins. I'm here from the Institute of American Indian Arts, which is just a few miles south of where we're meeting today. And I'm head of academic tech there, so I'm not about the logistics of actually getting the internet to people. I'm more about helping them learn what they can do with it once they have it. But one interesting issue for me, listening to stories yesterday, I'm struck by the effects of social media such as Facebook, and also kind of troubled in part because I tend to be a social media dinosaur. I log into Facebook every 6 months whether I need to or not. But I'm concerned about this centralization of resources that Facebook, Amazon, companies of that size tend to represent. And I wonder about some drive for decentralization, because all these cultural events and pieces of news, Facebook owns that. They own these things. And I would like to see, not just among indigenous communities, but throughout the world, a move to decentralization. Oh, you want to learn more about us? Go here. And this is ours, and we own it, and no one else owns it, and no one else sells it.
That's a very good point. And to highlight that also, Navajo, we've had the same problem. I'm not sure if people have heard of it, but there's been a branding issue with the name Navajo, right? Someone has used that name and, you know, as part of their product, and I think that's a good issue to come to. Ownership of information is very important, and I think community networks can solve that problem, because by nature community networks are just, you know, it's communication among the community, right? So we talk about community networks. That's what I understand. One of the aspects of a community network is that the networking is actually done local, right? And so, and then they speak about connecting networks together, and we heard a little bit about that yesterday. And you know, in South America, you know, that's what they talk about, connecting networks. In the United States, you know, what I feel is that, you know, it's always that connectivity out, right? And so that's going to be a big issue. When does a community network not become a community network? It actually just becomes a network out to the big internet. And is that okay? Is that, you know, now we come into the issues that you're speaking of, where the property, intellectual property, other types of things that may be owned by that community now is owned by somebody else just by getting on the internet, right? And so those are problems that, you know, that we'd like to get to, and I think we, you know, that's a good point. Thank you very much. So I want to try to be a little bit more rigid today, and we're going to start off. And so it is now 9 o'clock, and we're going to start with our first presentation, and it's on security. And I want to introduce Brandon Benally and hand over to Show.
Hello, everyone.